There was a time when an SUV was just a big metal box to haul your family, your dog, and your terrible gas mileage around. But somewhere along the way, we said, yeah, this is cool, but what if it did 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds and sounded like it wanted to punch you in the face? Enter the muscle SUV, a category that nobody asked for, but somehow became the most ridiculous, overpowered, and secretly brilliant thing on the road. So how did we get here? How did we go from the Ford Explorer to the Trackhawk, the Durango Hellcat, and Cadillac Escalades with superchargers? Let's talk about it. The SUV used to be the boring uncle car of the world. You had Ford Explorers, Chevy Blazers, and Toyota Land Cruisers, practical, slow, and about as fun as the DMV line. But then the 2010s rolled around, and SUVs became the thing. Big, tall, and safe, even though most of them had a rollover resistance of a Jenga tower in an earthquake. But people didn't care. They loved sitting higher than everybody else. Still, even in the golden era of the SUV, nobody thought muscle. That word was reserved for Mustangs, Camaros, and Challengers, not a car you'd take to soccer practice. But then the Germans showed up. In the early 2000s, Porsche dropped the Cayenne Turbo and everybody lost their minds. A Porsche SUV? Blasphemy. But then you drove it and you realized, wait, this thing handles good. And with over 450 horsepower, it wasn't just quick for an SUV, it was quick, period. BMW followed with the X5M, Mercedes dropped the AMG badges on everything they could find, and suddenly, performance SUVs weren't a joke anymore, and that they actually had real potential. This was the moment that the market realized, wait, people will actually pay 6 figures for a fast SUV? And that's when Americans got involved. The United States' take on things were different. Instead of engineering and testing SUVs specifically for sport, US manufacturers slapped a suspension kit and a bigger engine into their existing cars and called it a day. Enter the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, a 707 horsepower take on their existing Grand Cherokee that just so happened to do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. This thing weighed over 5,000 pounds and still outran some Ferraris. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't elegant, it was just pure chaos. And that's exactly why people loved it. And then there's the Dodge Durango Hellcat, which was literally a 3-row SUV with the same engine as a Dodge Demon. You can drop your kids off at school and run a quarter mile in under 12 seconds. It was incredible. And then we got the Cadillac Escalade V, a luxury land yacht with a supercharged 682 horsepower V8. It makes more noise than a plane taking off and costs $150,000 when optioned out. And yet, people are lining up to buy it. Why? Because there's something weirdly satisfying about driving something that shouldn't be fast, and yet totally is. So here's the real question. Why would anybody need a 700 horsepower SUV? Well, they don't. But that's not the point. The point is, the muscle car is dying. Government regulations, EVs, fuel economy, they're all pushing traditional coupes off the market. But SUVs are safe. They're family friendly, they're practical. So automakers found a loophole. If you can't sell a sporty V8 coupe, sell a V8 SUV. And people eat it up. You get the speed, the noise, the attitude, and you don't have to give up your back seats or cargo space. It's a perfect storm of performance and practicality, and it turns out people really loved that mix. The era of the muscle SUV is probably peaking right now, if not already on its way down. Why? Because electrification is here. You've got the Tesla Model X Plaid doing 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds with no V8. You've got Rivians and EV Escalades on the way, and even Dodge is working on an electric SUV. So the days of big V8s and screaming superchargers, they're most likely numbered. But for now, in this weird, glorious moment in automotive history, you can still buy an SUV that goes faster than most supercars, sounds like thunder, and weighs as much as a school bus. And that's kind of awesome. So the next time you see a Trackhawk flying down the highway, just remember you're looking at the last gasp of American muscle. It just happens to have 5 seats, cup holders, and room for groceries. Let me know your favorite muscle SUV in the comments, or which one you think is the most ridiculous. And if you want more weird stories from the car world, don't forget to subscribe. Because if there's one thing car history proves, it's that automakers will always find a way to shove too much engine into anything they can.